Welcome back to Dockslot Shop and Forge. A while back, when I was building the solid fuel forge, you might remember I was looking for a hand-cranked forge blower. I never did find one back then. But then, about a week ago, one cropped up cheap and very local to me. The only catch? Completely seized up and the crank handle sheared free of the first gear. Potentially. It otherwise looked in quite good condition. The big questions were, are all the gears present? Often the main crank gear, because it's a single wheel, is missing. Often used in another restoration project or something else. Second question was, how badly corroded are all the gears? It did look like it had been in a pond at some point because the corrosion was quite deep in some places. And could I take it apart without some of the cast iron castings cracking? The screws looked really solidly rusted in. So, assuming I can take it apart, and it's all there, how does one remove all that rust with minimal damage to the underlying iron? Well, I'm going to use electrolysis. So what I'll be doing is submerging the parts in a baking soda bath and running about 2 amps worth of current through to reduce the rust and have it flake off. This reduces some of the rust back to iron, so you lose less parent stock, and you don't have any of the abrasion damage that you would if you were to grind a wire wheel off the rust. I'll be using about a tablespoon of baking soda per gallon of water, so a tablespoon per 4 litres, and running 2 amps through that for 12 to 24 hours depending on how bad the parts are. So let's get started. So our next big project is restoring this old hand crank blower. So I'm about to give as many of the nuts and bolts as I can find some penetrating oil, and we'll leave it for a bit. Well, now we wait. There we go, not too bad. Gently, gently does it. Not going to go well because I need to break this part free so I can take this part apart, and these nuts are corroded to the point that there's nothing left. Like I said, the heads here, which I'll put a photo in the video for, look like that. They are rusted off. So, I'm going to cut them. These screws are in actually really remarkably good condition. Mostly. Somebody has had a go at trying to get into this. They didn't do a very good job of it. Let's give that a taste of fire. we've got that this time. Bit of fire, bit of leverage. Bob's your uncle. There we go. Oh, we've lost one fin. It's not too bad. It's been out in the rain and weather for a bit. It's not too bad. Well, happy to report all the wheels are present and accounted for. The fan has all its blades bar one, which somebody, looks like they drilled the rivets. It's like somebody started to do trying to do a restoration, I guess, and then they gave up. But everything's here, so now it's just a matter of taking the rest of this apart, giving everything a good soak. And then we can start thinking about putting it back together again. Yeah, it hasn't run on oil or grease in a very long time. Seems to have been running mostly on water and rust. A washer fell down. Must keep. Close to that one. Not in bad shape. Don't appear to be too badly damaged. Well, got it apart. All the gears are there. So the first step is largely to give them a bit of a soak. This water is warm water with a little bit of laundry detergent added just to cut the grease a bit. And then we're going to give it a good thorough scrubbing. Ideally, with a brush that's not going to be harder than the parent nipple. So I'm using a brass bristle brush at the moment. Yeah, this one is not really to remove anything. It's cool just to actually get rid of dirt. And much more material oil greases. So that's pretty close to ready. Alright, that's the first one done. Now I'm preparing to run these through electrolysis to get rid of the rust, which, given the size of these, means I'm going to have to do them one at a time. Probably do all the gears in one go. But the big bits, like housings and so on, they are unfortunately going to have to be done individually, so this is going to take a few days. Now this is the gear cover. I found this completely packed with a mix of water, rust and clay of some description. If you look carefully you can see where the water line was. So the gears have come out of the etch. They need oiling, but otherwise they are nice and clean now. The gear cover has been done. The housing cover has been done. There is something that's been ground off here and something there. But yeah, somebody's taken a grinder to it to remove it. I do know it was painted a cheap white paint, so that came off with the etch. I don't know if anybody recognises that. Could be I don't know, can't read that, but that looks like D, so maybe ex-Department of Defense. Not surprising. Now, one thing I will say, this is how I found the fan. These haven't broken, they've been drilled. Okay, so this is brass casting, so that's not going to go in for electrolysis. I'm just going to give that a good wiring, good wire brushing to clean it up. It's bored off center a little bit, but that's not too bad. Alright, so I'm going to drill these out, at the very least file them off. I think somebody tried to replace this with brass rivets and it didn't take, because the others are all rusty, so they're steel. Alright, enough of my musing and rambling. So I've started putting this together. Unfortunately I forgot to hit record, so I've got the new pin in, so this part is now assembled. Right, so that's the fan drive pin. So, short of the fact that we need to oil this, seems to work. The gearbox is actually in quite good condition. The gears aren't too badly corroded. A little trick to get oil exactly where you want it. Now I have found the oil hole. So instead of riveting this, I've opted to use a nut and washer arrangement. So, with that together, now I still need to extract these so that can be used, but for now, just as a proof of concept, we can get this thing going. Okay, and now back in one piece. little bit hard to get going. Well, it runs. Doesn't turn the easiest, but it works. Well, not only were all the parts there, but it was actually relatively easy to disassemble. The only bolts that I had to grind through were the 2 bolts holding the blower to plenum junction piece at the tip of at the nose of the blower itself, where the heads of those bolts had quite literally been corroded to the point where they were a mere suggestion. So now that I've reassembled it, it works. Turns. It's a little bit noisy, but it turns. I've decided to leave the fan as original for history's sake. This blower carries the Department of Defense mark, so the D, up arrow D. However, the maker's mark has been ground off. Now the real question is, what colour do I paint it? If you would like to support the channel financially, I now have a Patreon. Any donations will be just that, donations. The content will always remain free. The Patreon link is in the video description down below. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up, feel free to share on social media, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you subscribed. Don't forget, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. So get out to your shop, have fun, but do stay safe, and I'll catch you for the next one.